as I spoke about Saturday or Sunday, I mean, it was an unbelievable weekend for all of us around here when you think of what we all done, but it's a new week and it's time to move on. So we had a well-earned day off, and I think it was really good for us. Practice yesterday was pretty sharp, and I appreciated that. I loved the way we played against Illinois. We didn't, we competed the whole time, which I thought was really important. But we found different ways to win, and I think that's kind of the way our team is right now. Get an opportunity to go to Madison Square Garden is always fun. I think for players especially, those are where you make memories. And I think we'll have a pretty good turnout of Spartan fans too, and that'll be great for us. Rutgers is a team right now that has kind of been on the upswing. They're playing better. They got different lineups. And, their two superstars, and Bailey and Harper, are legitimate. I mean, you see Bailey make some shots that are unbelievable, and Harper just has an incredible feel. They're two of the better players I've seen in this league in a while. And they've got some guys now. They're bigs by collection. They got two bigs that are playing very physical and well, and two kids from Michigan who are playing, and Grant and Akoff are two guys that are playing a lot more for him, in fact, starting for him now. So they have depth. They've gotten tremendous contributions from the kid Somerville, who is a big 6'10", 275. They got another backup, 275. They got the Williams kid who played last year. And I'd say, all in all, Steve Peichel, I've always thought, was one of the better coaches in this league. So it's going to be 4th of July and Christmas for them, but it's going to be kind of exciting for us. And I just hope that we continue to play with the energy that we've had and kind of build on the consistency. We did put two decent halves together after a little bit of a sluggish start, but Illinois played well, but we played better down the stretch, and that was one thing we hadn't been doing in the last couple games. So, questions, I'll give you got me.
Tommy, not to say that you guys are like complete opposites as teams, but they got two guys projected to be top 5 picks this year. You guys don't even have anybody that's won Big Ten Player of the Week or Freshman of the Week. Do you see the difference, and what does it take, when you got two guys that are that skilled to make them go?
Yeah, I mean, those two players are really good, but as we say, you got to hope teams beat players. I mean, that's the collection of the whole is really what's important, how you win games. But I think their other players are starting to play better, and they are definitely a better team. I mean, you beat Nebraska on the road. Not many people do that. That was a big win for them, and they had a tough game against Penn State, but I think Penn State's pretty good. So how do you do that? You contain those two, but they're going to get enough shots, or they're going to get their points. I mean, I think they're both. I know for sure Bailey's averaging almost 20 shots a game. That's a lot of shots. So we're hoping that if he scores 20 points, he has to take a lot of shots to do it. But really talented guys. I mean, really talented offensive players. And like this league, I don't think has seen in a while.
We saw Frankie playing a little 4 in that game. I'm wondering, just with the versatility that you've got with this group in terms of on both sides of the ball and in and out with the lineups you can do, how matchup proof do you feel this team is right now?
Well, I do think we are playing Frankie a little more at the 4, and Book is starting to play. I mean, he's been better and starting to offensive rebound a little bit better, and that would really help us. And it gives us a chance to do a little bit more on the perimeter. So I think we can go small. We can go big if we have to go big, and that's always beneficial some way, shape, or form. But I think we're getting to the point now where our guys are comfortable with it, and they understand that certain lineups we're going to have to play certain people, and more in that 3, 4, 5 spot. We started the second half with Jackson and book, So it wasn't for punishment for anybody. It was just we felt like that was the best matchup, and those guys might have been playing the best. And so, yeah, I feel comfortable with it. I feel good about it. But when you see guys make some of the shots Bailey makes, doesn't matter who you have on him. It doesn't matter what the matchup is. I've seen teams go small on him, and he shoots over them. I've seen teams go big on him, and he shoots over them. He's that talented. There's a reason he's projected a number 2 pick. I think it's been well earned over time, and he seems to do it within their offense very well.
Yeah, Trey's obviously had a better year this year, but something that I've really seen out of him is his confidence skyrocket. Do you think that is, a product of the summer he's had off season, or where do you think that comes from?
Well, I think one of the reasons a guy, gets more confidence is 2 things. He works harder at it, which I think he has, and 2, you have experience, which, it's experience in the same system, same program, and I think he's progressing, I think he is. He wasn't shooting the ball very well early in the year. He's starting to shoot the ball better, but he plays so hard. He's, I think, working on his game more, and when that happens, those guys of Jeremy and Trey and Jace and Jaden have really kind of bonded in there right now, and I think we're getting a lot out of all of them in different ways. But Trey has definitely had a couple good games in a row.
Tom, you speak fondly of Madison Square Garden, and yet it hasn't always been kind to you over the last decade. I'm wondering, is that allowed, when you look at Madison Square Garden, do you ever have any of the flashbacks to any of the more painful games?
Well, the most painful, of course, is the trip to, getting beat by UConn there, and, where we had a lead at halftime, and I thought that team could have won a national championship. And I think when I look back, UConn went on to win the national championship that year. And so anytime, coulda, woulda, shoulda. But when you look at something, behind closed doors, I thought that was one year we could have won it. And so, yeah, that's painful. And, we've had other games that are painful, but most of the painful ones were Kentucky and Duke, and, games that I guess you look at Kansas State, but, most of those games we were underdogged in. And so we get a chance to play there for some of the reason is because of who Michigan State is. And some of the reasons are the luck of the draw of the Tournament of Champions we get to play in it. This game, I don't know, they could have moved any of their games there. They moved our game there. Is that a compliment, plus, minus? Just happened? I don't know. But I just think it's great when your players get a chance to play in places and do things that will be memory-making for them. And as we know, the elevator ride up is not memory-making, but everything else is, especially if there's no circus in town the night before. It's really good.
You played in both the RAC and there against them, and the crowd, the atmosphere they create there. Where would you rather face them? Would you rather do it at Madison Square Garden?
Joe, I thought you were smarter. Joe, I'm looking at you. You deserve that, by the way. But I would think that, there's the RAC is the RAC. It's confined. It's a place. It's a tough place to play. I think there'll be a big crowd. This will be a big game, especially with those 2 superstars. Everybody, I think, already assumes and knows, so I hope I'm not saying this against Steve, but they'll be playing there next year, maybe 5 days a week, that'll be the difference for those 2 players. So where would I rather play them? I guess I'd rather play them there than in the RAC, but, you never know, too. They might have a humongous crowd there because of they're coming on a little bit, and because of those 2 players, it's going to be a tough game. The crowd is definitely plays a factor in basketball when you're on the road, and I think it'll play less of a factor there than it would if it was at the RAC.
Tom, I'm curious, when we talked Sunday about rebounding, you talked about hit, find, fetch, and your philosophy there. But I know another part of your philosophy is that everybody rebounds. It's not just the bigs. It's not just the center. And I'm curious, when I look in the box score and I see everyone has at least 2 rebounds, at least 4 points, you get that by committee approach. I mean, how important is that for you to not just get the scoring by committee, but also the control of the glass?
Yeah, and I think we got to do a better job on the offensive end going to the glass. I mean, I think Jaden is a lot better offensive rebounder. Right now, our best rebounding guard's been Jace, and Jaden should be. He should be. So I'd like to see more of that. Cohen is starting to go there more from the perimeter. Frankie's starting to go there a little bit more. And so we are getting more than just our bigs rebounding. But on the offensive end, I'd like to see more of it than I've seen. I'd like to see the Charlie Bells, Morris Peterson, Jason Richardsons attacking, Brown and Ager and guys like that were great rebounding guards. I still think we're a work in progress in that. But, Illinois is a very, very good rebounding team with size. And at the end of that game, they played with even more size. And, if we don't give up that last missed free throw for a minute there, which was poor on our part, something we really try to pride ourselves in, we would have gotten one more rebound than them. As it was, they got one more than us. We're the 2 top rebounding teams in the league. So we're doing a good job there. We haven't been as good in the last 4 or 5 games as we were the rest of the season. So part of that is I think we're a little mentally tired. I really do. I look at Shimon, I look at some of the guys, and the young guys, they always go through that, but the new guys do too. Frankie and Shimon, haven't played at this level, at this pace, at this intensity, at this media, so we're adjusting to everything, and yet the rebounding is a part that you say you can hang your hat on, because if you are rebounding well, you're probably playing hard, and that's why I've always been a big advocate of it.
Tom, Jaden didn't attempt a single 3 for the first time since his freshman year, and I know part of that was Illinois didn't give you guys many opportunities to shoot the 3 ball, but you just talk about he still had some impact baskets, driving to the lane. You just kind of talk about his growth, just overall this year on him putting the ball on the deck.
I thought that was the best part of Jaden. They did take away his threes, and they did a good job of it. And I also thought him driving there, getting fouled, and getting to the basket, that's one thing. I think Jaden has more free throws shot already this year than he did all of last year. That is some growth, because that was one of our weaknesses, that he wasn't getting fouled. So he found another way. I still like to see some threes go in, but we didn't get many threes. I don't know if it was Purdue or somebody else only shot like 8 threes that I saw last night. People are taking away some of those things, As scouting reports get better now, as you get into Big Ten basketball and everybody can figure out everybody because of all the transfers, everybody's had to kind of assess everybody. You're seeing some things that were strengths that are getting taken away, and that'll happen to us, and hopefully that happens where we can take away some of those.
Tom, Rutgers has 2 of the league's top 3 scorers. You have one of the top 66. You're 4th in scoring, but they're 16th. How long did it take your guys to buy into strength in numbers and the whole's greater than the sum of the parts?
I don't know if you ever, I don't know if I'm necessarily proud of that, if you want the truth. I think we need a little more separation. We need some guys to score a little bit more. Now, how much more? I don't know. Our guys have bought in pretty good, but I'm not trying to say, hey, I want everybody to be at 8 points a game either. Let's get some 12 and 15-point guys and move everybody else up. We've played well enough where we should have scored more points than we have. But it is hard to argue the fact that we're scoring more points than we ever have. We're getting more shots than we ever have. I think the one thing that nobody sees is I think we're wearing down. It was funny, we're wearing people down. I think it was Trey got caught in between with a foul situation, and action didn't stop, and he got fouled, and he was laying on the floor. And, he said, I'm dead tired. Well, God, that's enjoyable to see that, because I think they're learning to play at a pace where they should get tired in the same amount of minutes instead of saving themselves. So, if you win games, it works. If you lose games, you're an idiot. I mean, we all know that. I can't believe the things I've watched. I've watched a lot of sports in the last couple of weeks between the NFL and college football and college basketball, and boy, there's a lot of smart people out there that aren't coaches. I'll just say that. A lot of smart people. It's amazing how smart they are. And you guys are part of it, but it's just amazing. And they have all the answers. They have all, quarterbacks aren't very good, and, one bad game. I mean, guys, it's incredible to me. So I'm just happy that my guys are kind of sticking together right now. But trust me when I said this. 9 of our last 13 against teams that are either ranked or were ranked, number one. And number two, it's easy to buy into everything when you're winning. It really is. So I am constantly cautiously optimistic about things. That's not, I'm fearful of it. I'm trying to use my experience over time to figure out that we still got to take it one game at a time. We still got to hang together. We still got to do all the things. And the more hype and all that is good for us, but it's also a pain in the tail, because then that's a good question, but it doesn't sound like a good question. You don't have anybody in the top 60 shooting or scoring. I know this. I try to say it this way. The record really is what matters, but that doesn't matter as much as it used to. We all know that. There's no kidding about that. But I've never seen, I watch every NBA draft. I see very few guys averaging 20 points a game in the NBA draft, even 16, 17. I mean, most of them are down. So winning still matters. How you play still matters. And I think that's a big key. So I don't have a good answer. We're different every year, and this year I'm fortunate enough that everybody gets along, everybody's playing together so far.
Is it a luxury to have 4 straight days of practice in the middle of January?
This one is. I think we needed it because we gave them a good day off, didn't see anybody, it was great, and now we can go to work, and maybe the last day, instead of just the 2-day preps where you're grinding every day, you hopefully have good one yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and then lighten it up on Friday and play Saturday. So I think it is, but if you lose the game, you know what I'll say? Boy, that was too much time, I'm just as dumb as some of the people I hear talking on TV or in the media. I'm just the same way.
They say the Lions, they had a week off, so that's why I lost.
Yeah, there you go. Or the quarterback isn't good enough.
Are you playing at all with the house money with Jace Richardson? In other words, did you expect him to be this impactful this soon?
I think Jace's best is, I think he's been damn good in a lot of ways, because he does things people don't see. He moves the ball. He just has a knack about him. But I think you're going to see him. One of the things I've been talking to him about is we have to get him more shots, and he has to get more shots. And so I think you're going to see him the second half be better than the first half. I really do. And but I'm pleased with him. I'm pleased with all of our guys right now. I'm really excited about the direction we're heading. I just want to keep heading in that direction.
Time for a couple more, Chris.
2 kind of non sequiturs. One, I wonder if you were able to watch much of that Fourplay Big Ten last night, of the 4 games consecutively, and what you thought of that. And 2, just, I don't know if you got to get over to the gymnastics meet after practice on Friday, but just everything that's going on this winter around here.
Yeah, I did stop by there. It was exciting to see that kind of crowd and the setup and everything. And, like I said, our wrestling won, our tennis won, our women's won, we won, hockey won. Gymnastics, had a event that was memory making. That's all that's all great for me, you know. Been a program guy since I've been here, and it matters to me how everybody does. And but you know, I watched the games last night. I watched some of them. I didn't watch all of them because I was doing some work on Rutgers and caught bits and pieces. And you know, surprising to some of you, not surprising to me, because I said it's the way the year's been, it's the way the year is going, it's the way it is. And it's great for fans, phenomenal for media. TV loves it, and coaches hate it, because it's, you know, and, but I think when you watch what Minnesota has done, or even like the Northwestern, you know, they've been in every game. I mean, you're not closing your eyes on Northwestern, and I just think there's a lot of good teams out there. UCLA's starting to play better again. They went through their little stretch. I think when you play 20 conference games, everybody's going to go through some stretch. That's why I'm, you know, trying to keep the boat sailing without the wicked waves that some of you produce for me and some of the fans do. But I'm trying to keep it straight and narrow, because experience tells me that there's still some rough waters ahead. And that's okay. That's good. I mean, that's the way it should be. So, one more.
Tom, I'm wondering, as a coach, if you were scouting Cohen, you know, how many more threes would he have to make or even just take before the scouting report changes even a little bit on him, you know, the type of closeouts you might want? Has he already done that, you think, with what he's done, or is he getting close to where it's even a little bit different on a scouting report to respect that part?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think if you make 2 or 3, it's going to change many people where they're going to be running at them, you know? I mean, that's up to them. It wouldn't change me. I'd be still looking at, you know, what are my... You're always taking chances, you know? You're playing your best odds, you know? And the best odds, would you rather him taking a 3 or somebody else? What I'm excited about for Cohen is he's improved his free throw shooting, he's improved his rebounding, he's improved his defense, he's improved his ball skills, and now he's even improved the three-point shooting. And when he takes them in practice, it's good. What I really like about him is he knows where he is right now. He knows he's got a long ways to go, but he's taking the ready shoot shots. And I'm cool with that because he's making them in practice. Whether that changes on a scouting report, you know, I got enough problems coaching my team. I don't know what the hell the other opponents are, you know, worried about my team. I sometimes say that the good thing about my team, I don't know who I'm going to sometimes. So if they're that good that they can do that on a scouting report, that's a hell of a coach, man. That's a better coach than I am. And because right now, I just feel that he's improving, but long way to go yet before, if I was, you know, would be a threat.